I wanted to quickly actually say this, and we've been talking about empowerment so much. I mean, that is the name of the summit, the Female Empowerment Summit. And before we get to panel 4, you know what I did is I looked up the definition. I bet, when's the last time you looked up the definition in the dictionary for empowerment and what it really means? And I wanted to read to you, at least, I think this is Webster's definition. There are several definitions out there, but it's so basic and it hits home the point. So, the process of becoming stronger and more confident, especially in controlling one's life and claiming one's rights. And I thought that was succinctly put. Thank you, Mr. Webster, in the dictionary. But I also think, and I agree with what I believe it was Rima when she said that about Oana, is that you were all about empowering all of us and lifting us up. So thank you again for today. It's been lovely. Okay, our next panel is the 4th panel, and then we will, I think we just got some bread at the table. I'm sure you're hungry. There will be some lunch served after this panel here, and this is such an important panel. This was not a part of last year's program, so I'm really honored to be able to talk about this. It is titled The Global Initiative for Early Autism Identification and Support. The moderator is Dr. Rolanda Gott. As she makes her way to the stage, let me tell you, she is the Clinical Medical Director of UCLA Developmental Behavioral Pediatrics Program. So Dr. Rolanda Gott, thank you so much for being here, and she will be your moderator for panel 4.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Actually, last year I was at one of the tables. I was invited by chance, and I was kind of taken over by this positive energy, and my mind was like, exploding with ideas. So thank you for coming. I want to thank Wana Tucker, who is a positive energy connecting all of us here, and we need more of people like her. So I'm actually a developmental behavior pediatrician, as you've heard, started my journey in Romania, and I'm very happy to be here to be joined by 2 distinguished guest speakers. So we have Dr. Kathy Lord. I invite her here to the stage. Dr. Kathy Lord makes me cry a little bit because she is the most known and world leader in autism. There is no one that knows more than her about autism. She actually developed all the diagnostic tools for the gold standard diagnosis of autism. She is my inspiration. I learned autism from her, not from my fellowship, not from my attendings, from her. So I think it's such an honor to have her here. You can't even imagine how loved and respected she is as a professor, as a researcher. She's done so many projects, research projects. She's an advocate. She's interested in improving outcome of adults with autism. And she is a real leader, our leader in the field of autism. So please, a round of applause for her because she is amazing. Not last famous, in Romania, we have my friend, Dr. Crina Nedelcu, who is the autism expert in Romania. And it's not easy to be an autism expert in Romania. She actually connected with me for many years at different international conferences for autism. And she is gracious enough to come here today and talk to us about how it is to be a psychologist diagnosing children in Romania, a country who is underserved in the field of developmental disabilities. So basically, I want to tell you how our project and collaboration started. Dr. Kathy Lord, as I told you, she creates all the diagnostic tests for autism. I mean, there is no one like her. She's the only one. So then during the pandemic, we had an issue. We as clinicians at UCLA, we could not engage directly with the patients because we had to wear masks. So she again came with a wonderful idea, saying, how about the mother and the child are engaging, and you guys will observe through a blind mirror or by Zoom. So we did this during pandemics. We're able to continue to diagnose children with autism and not letting them wait. And then I thought, that is a great project. How about we use this project in countries like Romania, where there are not many centers? And how about we can guide clinicians in a center, in a big city in Romania, but any child in any village can actually have access and can be diagnosed by Zoom. So BOSA is actually an observation tool, much more affordable than what we use here for diagnosis, easy to teach. And as a result of this idea, I thought, okay, I'm going to speak with Dr. Crina Nedelcu, who is leading the experts in diagnosing kids with autism in Romania. She leads different centers for diagnosing. She's an advocate for children and inclusion for children with neurodisabilities. And I asked her, can we do that in Romania? And she said, yes, it's a great idea. And then I went to Dr. Kathy Lord. I said, is it possible for Romania, who is actually a country without a lot of funds, to use the test you developed for us at UCLA and implement it and help those children to be diagnosed, as we don't have enough funds to pay for all the gold standards used in the world or in the United States? And she graciously said yes. As a result, this tool has been translated in Romanian, and now we're planning with leadership from Child Psychiatry Medical School and Dr. Crina Nedelcu to create research projects and trainings, train the trainers models, and implement a diagnostic evaluation for every single child in every village in Romania. So I am so excited about this project. And before I actually we tell you a little bit more about how I connected Romania to the United States, I have to tell you about my story. Like, we all have a story, and people who are born in communist countries have an interesting story, more interesting even sometimes. So I was born in communist Romania. I was the daughter of a Holocaust survivor. My father, looking at him, after being Holocaust survivor, he became a famous researcher, neurologist in Romania, discovered the first reflex in children with strokes, and then he actually wrote the first textbook in aphasia, published. He was very successful, and looking at him, I'm thinking, you know what, if he is so successful after such a rough start, there's nothing too hard for me. I can do it all, so it's nothing too difficult. So I learned also from him that it is good to dream. It all starts with a dream. We need to dream high, because even if you don't reach that dream, you get a little bit closer every time you dream. But dreaming may not be enough, right? We all can dream, but he told me, you need to think. And there is no problem you cannot solve. You can solve any problem, but you just have to think hard enough. So yes, I learned to think hard enough. So then I was thinking, Romania is a communist country. I went to medical school. But I thought, I want to go to a free world. So I still remember that moment when during communist Romania, I said goodbye to my parents. I'm sorry. So at that point, you didn't know if you still could see your parents again, because at that time, some of us were allowed to leave, some could not leave. So I said goodbye to my father, and I was crying. And he said, no, don't be afraid. I have no money to give you, but you have everything you need in your head. All you needed. You know many languages, you have a good profession, you're a physician, you like to connect to people, you don't need anything else, you're all set. And he was right, that was enough for me, what I learned in Romania, and that was, I am grateful to what I learned in Romania. I just want to give back. And then what happened, I became an attending, I developed I did training in the United States. I became an attending in St. Louis, and I'm going to this underserved area in the United States, right, in Missouri, and kids were waiting for 18 months to be diagnosed, right? Kids were desperate. So then I thought, what can I do? I'm alone here, but actually I wasn't. I reached out to parents, I reached out to the Missouri governor at the time, to other clinicians. So we got a grant. The governor of Missouri helped us. I developed a center for autism diagnosis, research, and education. We wrote the guidelines for diagnosing kids for autism, and the waiting time went down. So what I want to do now is I want to replicate what I've learned throughout the years in the United States, in Romania, and connect the two countries. So in any case, I think as clinicians, as experts in one field, we have to be always thinking, okay, I can learn more, I don't know enough. It's always something to learn. I learn from my patients, how to talk to them. I learn from the families. I learn from other clinicians. I learn from everybody. So we always have to continue to learn. The more I knew over life, I realized I don't know enough. So the more I know, I realize how much I don't know. So I think the fact that we all want to learn, are here to learn from our colleagues, is really impressive. So with that being said, I have a couple of questions for our panel. So I'm going to start with Dr. Kathy Lord. So thank you again for being here. It's an honor for me. And I would like to ask you, what is a recipe to be a successful expert in any field, not only autism? What advice can you give to all of us?
I was struck, just having been here for the last couple of hours, with how relevant the various women that were talking and their experiences are, even to being an expert in a clinical area. I mean, I think part of it is find good people that you can work with, both people that know more than you, but also I get to work with graduate students and younger people who keep asking you questions like, why on earth are you doing this? That are really important. I think also just being open-minded. There is so much we don't know about autism. I mean, we know quite a lot about what it is not, like vaccines do not cause autism, apart from people continuing to claim that, but we also don't really know what does cause it. And so we need to be conscious all the time of how can we figure this out. In the meantime, while we have real children and real families and real autistic adults, we have to keep thinking about what makes a difference in their lives, which is very different than the biology. Is the reality, or the neuroscience, which is going to be important someday, but right now when you're faced with an autistic person or a family that has just discovered their child has autism, the issues are, what do we do? And I think trying to be open to that and different approaches and listening makes the biggest difference.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And one more question. I know you're very interested in the outcomes of adults with autism, and I know we always becoming better and better in diagnosing early children, but then all of a sudden they grow up and we don't know what to do, and we still have a lot of work to do here in the United States. So what do you think can improve the outcomes of adults with autism, and what advice can you give us to prepare those adults for a successful life if they have autism?
So I mean, one of the things I think we have realized is there's incredible heterogeneity and ranges in who has autism, all the way from people who cannot talk and really function more like a very young child, even though they are an adult, all the way up to people who are absolutely brilliant and very articulate, but still struggle with the social consequences of autism and sometimes the inflexibility in thinking. So recognizing those differences, I think, is really important. I think it's very hard because we can't tell when we meet a 2-year-old which of these they're going to be or somewhere in the middle. And so with a 2-year-old, we need to start with how can we help this child communicate? How can we help this child have positive interactions with other people and be ready to learn? And that's going to be true no matter what. But then as the child grows up, by the time the child is 5 or 6, we have a pretty good idea of what they're going to be able to do. Not everything. I mean, this is not predicting, are they going to go to Princeton, or what are they going to do? But we have a good idea of, are they going to be fluent speakers, which is the #1 factor that predicts independence. And also, how much are they going to need care in terms of hygiene, in terms of getting dressed, in terms of an adequate diet. I think one really important thing is starting to be realistic, which is very hard. It's hard for clinicians when you see a 5-year-old who's not talking to say, and someone is working on teaching them French and English, and saying, I don't understand why he doesn't write, to say, wait a minute, this may not be the most important thing in his life. Maybe we should be sure that he's toilet trained. Maybe we should help him be able to pick out his favorite T-shirt, or let you know that he really doesn't like macaroni and cheese without throwing it. That is very hard, but I do think that is important. Not necessarily right at 5, but at some point in childhood. I mean, just today I read an update of a child who is 9 who does not speak and who is in a bilingual program, and they were talking about, oh, I think he can recognize letters in this other language. And it's like, really, who cares? What is important for him is finding things he can do and things he likes to do, and ways that he can take care of himself. So I think that is critical. Another factor that we found repeatedly over and over is how involved are families. And the reality is, it's mostly mothers, although it should be fathers too. But how involved is the family, not being the treater? They don't have to be the therapist, but knowing what's going on with your child and sticking up for them. You know, saying, look, he really doesn't like tennis. So let's get him out of tennis. But maybe he really likes to swim. You know, or this girl is obsessed with princesses. How can we use her interest in princesses to get her involved in things? So parent involvement is more important than anything. And then again, and this just testifies back to all the things people were saying, when we asked families, whom we've worked with now for 30 years, what was most important to you? What made the biggest difference? They all identified people. They didn't say a particular treatment. So they didn't say CBT or ABA or a drug. They identified particular people. So I think, and coming back, I'm sure you can talk about this too, helping families find people they trust and sticking with them. And then there are changes over time, so those might change. But that idea that you want to find people, and again, you know, like Dr. Gott, who you can go back to and say, is this really true? I just read that this new calcium cures autism. Should I go buy it? You know, or if my child doesn't seem to be learning in school, what should I be doing? And having someone who can work with the family, I think, is more important than anything that sounds more scientific or miraculous.
Yeah, wonderful. Yes, it is true. And we are here for our families. And as Dr. Kathy Lord is, it's not about who has a high IQ. It's about who can make a phone call, who can feed themselves, who can make a friend, right? So I think supporting social skills, independent skills is the key for success. And believe it or not, IQ is not that important. So we have a lot of work to do. So thank you so much, Dr. Lord. And now I have a question for my friend and colleague from Romania, Dr. Crina Nedelcu, who is the expert, as I said, for diagnosing kids with autism in Romania. And I would like to hear from you, to share with us a bit of your experience as a psychologist in Romania diagnosing children with autism, and what do you think about BOZA as an option for diagnosing them?
Hi, first, it's a privilege to stand before you and talk about my experience working with families and children diagnosed with autism in Romania. What I want to say is that over than 80% of professionals in psychology are women, and a journey for a woman who wants to practice in Romanian at the international standards sometimes is very challenging. When I started working 20 years ago, we didn't have any standardized test tools for evaluation children. And also, we didn't have any intervention method in our country, and the family must put in contact with the professional from abroad to teach us how to work with their child. So I invest a lot of time and money trying to change things in my country. And Dr. Kathy Lord, for me, is a really inspirational person. So I think this is the power of a woman to inspire other women. And I want to really thank you. You are a model for me. And about the BOSA, for sure, it's a great tool. And thanks to you and the team from Bucharest, we already translated in Romanian these tools, and we hope to start to keeping trainings for other psychologists, psychiatrists, and apply on a larger scale in Romanian, because even if we have and we introduce in Romanian Autism Diagnostic Observation Schedule, that is the international tool for autism, because sometimes the family from rural area can attend to one evaluation. With BOSA, we will be more easy for us and for them.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're very hopeful. So I do hope that maybe in a year we can give you an update and we can tell you, no, there is no waiting time, or is less waiting time. And so many children have been diagnosed and started treatment, because early treatment is a ticket for diagnosis and success. So we know that we diagnose children with autism, developmental disabilities. I'm on the board of Special Olympics. It's not all about disabilities. It's about mainstreaming and actually inclusive health. We want more and more children with disabilities to be included in general education, and we want to advocate for them to be happy, successful, and accepted. There is a stigma around the world, more in some countries than other, about children with disabilities, and we all here are fighting to actually that stigma be erased, and we want to embrace those families and children with open arms and as our equals. So Special Olympics, by the way, it's a great way to advocate and include them. But in Romania, actually, Dr. Crina Nedelcu had a great initiative, an inclusive model for children who are neurodivergent, maybe they have some disabilities. And I would like you to tell us about your tremendous success and support for the most famous, actually, soccer players in Romania, teams. She had a lot of attention in the media, ProTV, if people know about it in Romania, it's a famous channel, about how she developed a very creative program where she included children with disabilities in the life of all of us.
Yes. Neurotypic Foundation aims to create specialized centers for child and adults, young adults with autism. This is an emergent need, because all of the centers that operate in Romanian are in rented houses. So this is our bigger goal, to build one of these centers. And it's true that on the National Stadium of Bucharest, we organize sensorial rooms. And thanks to Autism Speaks, I met Cathy Lord in New York 2 years ago, and there I heard about this initiative. Family and children can attend social events, and also the football teams are near us and make a big awareness. And at the end, I want to say that we create a campaign that sharing T-shirts like mine, atypic equal amazing, and also I offer everybody, yes. So wearing this T-shirt means to increase awareness and inclusion. And thank you, everybody.
Much. Thank you for your attention. I know we're late in the schedule. Thank goodness you got some food. In any way, I'm going to be on the stage just a few more minutes. Dr. Nedelcu, you can go and have a wonderful lunch. But thank you so much, and thank you for our panel. And best of luck, and I do hope we're going to hear more results. So please, Dr. Kathy Lord, please have a seat. We have one more surprise for you. So as I said, today we are honored that Dr. Kathy Lord agreed to come, take time from her busy schedule and talk to us about autism. And we are very grateful that she was she did share with us this tool for free with Romania, and now we can actually make progress in diagnosing children in a timely manner and increase access for those patients in Romania who don't have so many resources. So we're very grateful for her work. And as a thank you, we're actually inviting the Excellency Lucia Sava, our General Counsel, who would like in appreciation to give her a special award.
So, Dr. Catherine Lord, in the Female Empowerment Summit, and it's my honor to give you this award, is Global Autism Award to Dr. Catherine Lord. Please applause. You can say a few words.
I think I can say quickly that this, again, sort of alluding to the earlier conversations, that when the pandemic hit and we were told, you can't see people or only with masks and only for 7 minutes, we were like, what on earth can we do? And I did have a group of very strong graduate students, all women, who we were like, I think we can do something. We can take what we usually do in person that takes 45 minutes and a lot of training, and we can get it down to like 10 minutes. I mean, it's not as good, but still 10 minutes with families and make it as simple as possible. And then the publishing company that usually puts out this instrument, so they do control it, said, okay, you can do this for free. And so we provided free trainings, and we were able to train, I think, almost 40,000 people. Not me personally, but my team of graduate students, and we figured out a training and a way to make this available. And I think the question, which we should engage the technology people here, of how to move this forward, because this is tied to a publishing company that is a profit-making company, and not me, but them. And so they were willing to do this during the pandemic, and now we're trying to figure out how to negotiate with them to move forward, because it is much cheaper. And it doesn't give you everything that you would do interacting with a child, but it gives you a very good sense often, for most kids, of where you're starting. So I just have many people to thank about that, and this is lovely, this is beautiful, and thank you for recognizing this.